Let's see, first is Mazzy Star, Fade Into You. Should I move it a little more this way? But let's see. Who would I dedicate this? There's a few. Most of the people that. So, since the last 2 or 3 years, I've connected to some chat rooms. So there's several women there that I would say. Kaylee, I won't say the full name. Lilith, the Muscle, actually the 3 women with muscles that I never thought I'm not. It's not that I'm into muscles. I thought that ladies with muscles. I said, they're beautiful. But in my life, I never got into people. I always look at the eyes, so I never really paid attention to the rest. And there was one woman that was strong that I went out with, but she was a Russian lady, but she was strong like naturally, not built. But I've gotten into 3 because they're really, really taking care. They really look fantastic. So they have the beautiful eyes and the strong body. It's not just strong body. It's what's it called? Chiseled. Shaped, but muscular, So they got the feminine curves and it's healthy, really is, it's we're not used to that. It's like the Olympics have started from the Greek way of thinking because, you want to show off the body when it's healthy. It's something to be proud of, So anyway, here is the Mazzy Star. I wanna know and inside you. Too loud. I wanna breathe a breath that's true. I look at you and I see nothing but unconditional love. I messed that up, man. I added some words. Lyrics, they call them, again. I added that part that says, but unconditional love. I don't like saying nothing to anybody. It's like when people say, I love that person to death. I say, I love that person through reincarnation. I just can't, I hate words that mean end or means nothing. It just bugs me. So I don't like that part that says, I look to you and I see nothing. I have to add, but unconditional love. I can't. It's just weird to me. I'm sweating because I did some exercise. Always and cooking. I forgot I got 3 things on the stove. I wanna hold the hand inside you. I wanna take the breath that's true. I look to you and I see nothing but unconditional love. I look to you to see the truth. You live your life, you go in shadows. You come apart and you go blind. Some kind of night into your darkness. Colored your eyes with what's not there. Fade into you. Straight Strange you never knew. Fade into you. I think it's strange you never knew. A strange light comes on slowly. A stranger's heart without a home. You put your hands into your head. And then its smiles cover your heart. Fade into you. Strange you never knew. Fade into you. I think it's strange you never knew. Fade into you. Strange you never knew. Fade into you. Strange you never knew. I think it's strange you never knew. Can you tell I was gonna sneeze? I changed it into a cough. I don't know why, but it was gonna be a sneeze. Let's see. That goes off. Next tune to Mimic. My underarms are so sweating. I gotta clean my underarms. I'm not gonna do that on camera. So my videos, I used to have it open. My father was there looking out the window. I would bring the seagulls over. What are you talking about? They would follow me because I have a device, and if you tune it to a certain vibration, it has to be a three-dimensional vibration. Animals, every animal has their instinct to that vibration, and it really, what I see, it mimics. If it's any one thing, it's a place that would have waterfall, a lot of foliage, but healthy, and waterfall and trees. That's what it seems to mimic to them. To each animal, the tone, the three-dimensional is different. It's vibration, it's not tone. You don't hear it. The animal feels it. And what I see in kind of mimics is what I said, a waterfall with pasture kind of, some rocks, and a lot of trees. Like almost every animal can live there. They can adapt to that. Okay? And so I've gotten grasshoppers who pass by, woodpeckers pecking my bricks in front of eagles, hawks. Hawks were the first ones back in the early 70s. There was a dentist building on 23rd Street. Before that famous hawk in Central Park, they were there. They were about 5. And I started playing around because my thought was, they're going to fly, they're going to love. What I do, part of what I do is I use silicone to raise a string of air that's cool from underground. As it comes up, it changes its property, its static property, and it warms up. It's rising. Because that's air warming up fresh from coolness, it has the strongest ability to rise. So the birds love it. They just glide over it. Every bird I've seen, even the little ones, you see the little sparrows, they barely don't glide, and you see them just above the people with their wings open, not flapping. Sparrows don't like to glide. They don't have enough, what is it? What would we call it? A body. That's another word for it, scientific word for it. Mass or whatever to catch the air. They're more built to go sharp, because they have to get that little piece of bread between all the other big birds, so they have to zoom in and come out. They and hide. So, but you see the pigeons, they would constantly. They still do. They still a few blocks up and a few blocks. It's one of the few places you see birds in groups still circling, because of the chaotic effect of electricity and something else. They break up. Anybody who's over 50 remembers birds when the backfiring of a bus or whatever, or even somebody dropped something loud, like construction, they would all of a sudden fly in groups of like 50, 60, easily 60, 70, maybe 100, and circle 2-3 times. You don't see that now because of electricity is proof that they don't like that something is messing up their ability to stay together. They can't be close to each other. It affects their radar, if you want to call it that. And they get too close to buildings and they hit them sometimes. So here you see, they still do that in this area. And on the west side, because I hang out on the west side with my portable device so I carry that portable device and I go to the post office. This is in the 90s. And I see the seagulls, hovering over. Instead of going over the buildings, they usually do, especially as these projects on the west side. They love there because the heat is coming up. They follow me, and I started walking. And look, they still follow me. And I said, I'm going to set that. And I fine-tuned it, and they started following me. The late 90s. It took a little time. It wasn't like over a few months. It was like 2 or 3 years because I had other things to do. I'm working, and it was usually when I had 2 or 3 days off on the road, not just one day. And I would come down 2nd Avenue. This is now in the 2000s, and you see 40, 50 seagulls coming down, circling. They're always circling, but coming down. And I've come to my apartment, and there's 2 videos I had. One real long one, but one with my father shorter. And you see the seagulls just hovering around this building. Then they would go. I could see them follow the cameras, because I wouldn't follow. I'm staying in the apartment once I got here, and I would follow the cameras at 2 or 3 that are pretty high up, and I could see them going 23rd Street and going back to the post office. There, they kind of zoomed. They didn't circle, so the air was. See, and you see these things. I saw hawks. Oh my goodness, man, hawks. Especially on the west side with his lower buildings. I would hang around, set my portable thing that I have on me to be a little more aggressive, and they would go up. I can't tell you how high. It had to be higher than the Empire State Building, and they would come down so fast. I caught it on camera twice, but if you don't know what it is, it's just a blur. I don't know. They were going for a little park. There's little parks in that area on the west side, and 4th Street, below 14th Street, 4th Street, little parks. They were getting a mouse, I figure. They would just come down, zoom, and the last thing I saw was they would disappear behind like an 8-story, 6-story building. I have to believe this. They know what they're doing. The way that speed they were coming down. I have a camera. It had 1,000 shutter on it, and it still is. I know they're far away. It's partially. It's just a blur. If you know what you're looking at, if you don't know, you see nothing. You see nothing. It is just amazing. And they would rise above me and then move to the side and start going down, and then they'd come back towards me because they wanted to rise up higher. They saw probably a mouse. Actually, I think they're gonna go after squirrels, and then just go back and then zoom just down. So that's enough of that story. That's my science piece, I guess, for today. What am I doing today now? I forgot. I think it's Louis Capelli. Is this the right tune? Before you go. I gotta get the lyrics. Time out. Lyrics. Before you go. There it is. For the west side, not for the west side. Feel by the west side, like everyone else. I hate you, but I was just kidding myself. Of every moment I try to replace, Cause now that you're gone, all I hear is the words that I needed to say. When you hurt under the surface, like troubled waters running cold. Well, time will heal, but this wounds. So before you go, was there something I could have said to make it heartbeat better? If only I had known you had a storm to weather. So before you go, was there something I could have said to make it all stop hurting? Kills me how a mind can make you feel so worthless. So before you go, was never the right time. Wherever you called, went little by little by little until there was nothing at all. Of every moment I started to replay, but all I can think is about the signal in the face. You hurt under the surface, like troubled water running cold. Well, time will heal, but this won't. I'm messing it up, man. So before you go, was there something I could have said to make it heartbeat better? If only I had known I had a storm to weather. So before you go, was there something I could have said to make it all stop hurting? Kills me how your mind can make you feel so worthless. So before you go, wouldn't it better off by now if I had let the walls come down? Maybe I guess we'll never know. You know. Before you go, was there something I could have said to make your heartbeat better? If only I had known you had a storm to weather. So before you go, was there something I could have said to make it all stop hurting? It kills me how your mind can make you feel so worthless. So before you go, before you go, I messed it up.
Hello?
Oh, this is sad, very sad. The kids that were killed in the Connecticut, was it? In Sandy Hook. And again, if this is not proof, when people go against that, saying it never happened, blah, 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 you know. When I explained how electricity is messing up our brain, electricity puts out two right angles. When they clash, the ethereal has to go back to ground. If not, it creates a chaos, a chaotic effect. This chaotic effect has to go back to the ethereal. And the most efficient ethereal connection to ground is the human brain. Goes then through the sole of the feet. Has to travel through the body, that means. That means it will teach other cells how to dance chaotically, which can lead to cancers and other diseases. It teaches the brain how to short itself. The dance in the body is a short in the brain. And we have to learn about ethertricity. In ancient scriptures, ethertricity is Jesus. In ancient scriptures, Lucifer is electricity in space. It's a form of static. It comes to the ground and it's chaotic. And you have stories of on one shoulder is Jesus and the Son of God. It could be any Son of God. Usually before Jesus, after Jesus, there are too many human beings trying to take over. God, Jesus and Buddha and all those people, Bull Mithra, it's really symbolic. They really are learning, people who are trying to learn of of wisdom, and because people didn't understand, that's what they're trying to learn. They put on their life, their thoughts, their understandings of the stars became their life. Example: Jesus, born from a virgin. It's really the sun, our star, closest star. Look what happens in August. It appears to come out of a virgin, the Virgo sign, because think of it as a background. Okay, and you have the same story, but different, I should say, with this arachnoid in South America. Okay, that tells you there were people like 20,000 years before. It's a procession. Yeah, it's a procession that already were leaving signs for people to learn. But then the great floods came in the 12,000, the young Dryas. I forgot how you pronounce that, and that erased that. So they had to leave another sign for this procession, which is the northern hemisphere. So you have Jesus coming out of the Virgo sign. Then there's Libra. Libra is symbolic of the physical weighing and the spiritual not weighing. Okay, the weight of your actions. I'm trying to remember now, I'm forgetting things. And so that's, and look how it crosses it. Look how it crosses the Libra sign. Then after Libra, there's another zodiac sign that is actually perpendicular, so it's not official. That's Moses. It's going. If this is the zodiac, I don't know if I'm a camera or not. I'm gonna have to look at. I'm talking with my hands, and I don't know if I'm a camera. Yeah. If this is the line of zodiac, this is Moses. It's a ferrite bead. It's what you see at the cords of electronic things, so that there's no interference inward and outward, because that's what bathes our energy to help it travel back in reincarnation. The zodiac energy. Okay, I'm not gonna get too deep at focus. It has a focal plane, not a focal plane. That's the wrong way of putting it. Oh, sweat just got into my eye. See, I hate that. You got sweat in my eye. I get sweat in my eye, and it bothers. I don't know why it bothers my concentration. It bothers me. I think I know why. That's why I tell people: if you're ever sweat in the eye or teary, because it's salt. Salt. I'm a salty person. The girls told me I was kind of salty, not too salty, but I don't kiss my face. I can't. Yeah. I can touch my tongue here, but I can't touch it. I could downward. Anyway, that's another sign. Why am I talking about that? I'm science. Anyway, so, theories, not science. Let's see. So, I remember this part. And the ferrite bead. That's Moses for 2 weeks. That's why you have the symbol also rotating. There's something in that part of Moses. If you discover it, you have to know. I have no telescope strong enough than the I forgot the name, and the Hubble. So how do I know this stuff? That's when I died. I had the experience. I went actually past death. But nobody's going to believe that, because people say you can't do that. So, okay. It has to be natural. I choked. Every time I died was something natural, except the tonsillitis. It was natural, but it was gas. I found later I choked on my own saliva. But it was because they were putting the amount of gas in the wrong way. I'm not going to get into that too much. And more sweat. Let me get this sweat. Anyway, so, and under the arms again. La 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 la. Anyway, who's that? That was that's Curly. La la la. Hey Mo, Larry. Come on, let's go. Anyway, so now you know why I worked at the psych ward at Beverly Hospital. I was trusted with the money. Okay, only 2 people in the 20 years I was there was trusted with that, because they caught 2 others working, taking tokens and money. They try to, even workers. I would tell them there's a $20 bill underneath that table, and they would get upset because it was for them to take it. But once I saw it, that's the person I am. I can't let it go. Anyway, but the workers like me. They like the other guy too, but they like me because I did crazy stuff, and the people who are sick kind of enjoyed it. And they calmed down when I was there. They would say, "Here's Mr. X." That was my nickname. And so I would do voices and stuff, just to entertain. So back to take the rice from over here. I can see it in the reflection. That's okay. It's a little foggy, the reflection. See, I'm losing track. This is how I think. That's why I went nowhere. Because I needed somebody. I don't know if you can call it a mentor, but especially in your teenage years, people like me need some uncle, somebody who doesn't have kids, or an aunt. Usually it's a woman, but it could be an uncle. Somebody who has a feminine thinking mind. Doesn't mean anything except that the mind is more open. Okay, so I'm going to get onto another subject, and I'm going to get into that right now. Okay, so this is Moses, So you have the you have it for another reason. It's explained in history, the snake around the staff, but I think it has to do with that. And so it's controlling the energy, it's maintaining, and it keeps it like grounded, if you would call it, grounded to your soul, to goodness. Okay, not the ego. See, I'm losing. So it was electricity I was talking about. Oh, so and then I started mentioning Jesus. Okay, so that's this way. Then you get the farm animals, the half horse, half man, and the female goat. Is it? And that's why in the scriptures it says that Jesus was born in a cave. Manger is a cave. It's not a farm. And finally, the Catholic Church, like 20 years ago, said, "Yep, it's a cave." So who would put farm animals in a cave? The story is told that way, so we wake up when we can finally figure it out. And we should be figuring out that's Sagittarius, where it's dark. It's a cave. And you have the farm animals. Jesus then manifests, becomes physical through there. But it's actually talking about the sun traversing that area, because it's saying that its energy now has become more for the physical than the ethereal, which has to help in growing plants. So now it's going into the dormant stage, if you want to call it that. It's going to the and then it becomes entombed, the sun again, the star. For how long? For 3 days and 3 nights. It becomes entombed. It goes underneath the horizon of Earth. At points, not everywhere. The more you go towards the pole, one side it's midnight sun, the other side is daytime midnight, whatever the other way, midnight moon, whatever, I don't know, eve, noon eve, I don't know what they call it on the other side, because midnight sun is when it's in anyway, it's the polar regions, and I'm going to get too complex in there. So 3 days and 3 nights, then what does the sun do? It rises on the right side, it ascends. And you see in the Bible, it rises. Jesus supposedly comes out of a stone. That's the earth. That's the stone it's coming out of. Then, see, I forget all these things. I learned it also through reading of Bull Mithra. It's the same story, but a little different. But see, I'm forgetting parts now. So somebody could figure it out. I'm sure the people out there figure it out. I went to a gentleman who actually figured this stuff out, but I was telling him, and he hugged me like I thought he was going to choke me. It was his wife next to him. He said, "Oh, this gentleman, he thinks I'm somebody reincarnated." I don't know who he thought. He never told me. I said, "Don't tell me, actually." But it's that old saying, "Love you to death" type of thing that I don't like. I'd rather say love through your reincarnation. But then you change, then you're somebody else. But what was I going to say? Oh, so he would hug me every time he saw, because I would tell him things that it took him, not because I'm any better, but it took him 30, 40 years to figure out. And he told me, "How did you get it?" I said, "I died." I told him blank. Usually I don't tell people this. I say, I went through an experience and I saw things. And so he just said, "Yeah, you're somebody from past and you know some things." Anyway, I think it's time to turn off the lights. Let me see. I'm trying to see if... No, it's low. So this... then comes the part where the sun passes the jugular vein of the male goat, sheep, male, whatever, and you hear "put blood on the front door," and people do that. There's nothing to do with that. It has to do with the sun passes the jugular vein. Where on the front door is a sign, the zodiac sign. It's called the front door, and it's like cutting the jugular vein. So that's where the story is. The blood is in the front door, and I'm forgetting the rest. I'm gone blank. I always do this every time I give. I forget the other parts, because they're a little more complex in teaching. The lion, the Pisces, the twins, and all that stuff, and I forget. Anyway, so enjoy that. Hopefully, I'm sure that people who know this, or I don't want to say know it, they figured it out because it hasn't been proven yet. People so into religion, but you see preachers have millions of dollars of them, people's money. They can't open up a bank for these poor people with that money. So when they go to church, they can use their own interest. The interest, that's the job they should be doing. Sure, have a nice house. Have a plane. A nice car. Not 2, 3, 4 planes. Buy a golf course. None of that stuff to me, if you're really a preacher. Once you get to a point that you're self-sufficient, take the money they're giving and put it in a bank for only the people of that church. And it earns interest. The millions that are going to earn interest and give it when they need the money. I forgot what those banks are called when they help the poor. There's a name for that. The lenders. They lend. and a low interest. That's what a person, if you're, what do you call it? I'm gonna say if you're a person of God, as they say, like to say, religious, but they don't. The people are still poor, coming in with problems, and they get smacked in the head and they fall backwards, and you cure them. That's nice. That's nice. There is something to the energies that are called under Jesus and that, but it's what I speak about. It's flows of energies. I saw when I was young. I don't, I explained it in another video. What happened? Let's see. I did that tune already, Capelli. It's a sad video. I can't play it. I'll start tearing up. And I'll tell you this other idea. I've given this idea now for 20 years. 2 ideas I wish people would take. One is a specific type of way to construct helmets and body protection for sports that will cut down contusions and concussions by probably almost 98%. It will be gone. Nobody listens. I send it to the New York Giants. Not the idea, but that I have it. I'll give it to you for free. I wanted to give it to Manning because Manning was purposely getting hit in the head. And you see this with New York players. I don't know why New York especially. Look at the games. The players ended and they will smack him with the elbow. And it happened to Eli Manning a lot. I don't know if it happened to his brother. Okay? And it's just amazing. It happens also to the Kansas City. It didn't happen to... It happens to me, to quarterbacks that are not involved with the gangs that I talk about. The GOAT guy from New England, he's involved. He came from that area where they were developing what you call Havana syndrome. Okay, and the person who was his trainer in South America was involved with that group. But let's see what happens. Okay, let's see. That's just my opinion. So the station, the YouTube, whatever, is not involved. But I've explained it in other pages, and it's hidden until people start searching those keywords. And that happens when they discover. And you see that there were, I'm told, as much as 6, for sure 3 referees that were in the pockets through the Gillette company. And they get paid after they retire. So nothing funny. See, watch who these refs are when they start getting nice homes and they're retired, and they can pay for their kids' education like nothing, which is a good thing. But you're using money. Okay, they should take every ring except one. Whoever, each of those players in the New England team, when they find this out, I don't care how many rings you have. I think the most is the GOAT guy. Which I feel bad for the basketball player. I forgot his name. He's really a GOAT. He won them. Even though people favored Boston, at least it was more in a clean way. And as an African player, it was difficult. It still is in the society as a person, an African person. But Tom Brady, as I'm talking, him, all the players, I don't care how many rings you have. If you have more than one, you can keep one. The rest goes to donated to help children's hospitals. That's it. You cheated, man. You cheated. There were 4 years in the NFL. You cannot make the Super Bowl if you lose 1 game in the playoff. In fact, if you lose 2 games more than you did in the regular season, you don't make it. So if you won 12 and then for some reason you had 2 games given to you, change that. There was only the Jets should have gone to the playoffs when they had the coach who's now is Tampa Bay. Great for him. Anyway, because he's a good guy, and good people, they mess up. In sports, the gangs, they use this Havana syndrome to attack people. That's why the Giants would play New England and they would dominate them, because one coach, if you know who it was, Miss TC, would always move them to wherever the hotel they were at when they were playing the top games at the last minute. And that means that if you're doing something, it was mainly, I heard that there was a lot of noise and they wanted to rest. The noise is the sound they make to hit you with the Havana syndrome. They make sounds, so the sound becomes like the syringe, and the liquid in the needle is the microwave, and that gets injected into you through repetitive sounds. After a while, the sound doesn't have to be loud. That's why I don't say noise. It just has to be that it enters your body, and that could be tapping, usual tapping. Ball bearings are used, and you can't even hear. A phone ringing, constantly ringing, you can barely hear, can continue the attack, but the beginning sounds have to be loud. So they'll be hammering or something, and you go. So they will go to the playoffs, and they was. So the coach said, "We got to move you to a place that's quiet." Well, he didn't know he was moving them away from this attack. And so it dominates. That's why I felt bad for Atlanta. Atlanta stayed where they were, and you saw what happened to them in the second half. It completely, okay, their mental capacity just goes. That's what happens. You do stupid things. And you think in a way that you think you're 100% right. The ego. And like I said, you look what happened in Atlanta. So it's not that it benefits England, it's that it damages the mind of the players. So any team that's going to play New England, not now, I would say now San Francisco is involved in this. There's another team that I'm thinking about. But San Francisco for sure. So when you go to play in San Francisco, change your place. If they start making you hear sounds, whether it's a plane flying low, whether it's cars, gang cars playing music, any sound. Tapping, they'll say, well, no, we're just fixing something. Garbage trucks, they just have that constant sound in the background with their flywheel running. They never did that before. I don't know why the cities can't tell private haulers do this. Stop that. You see these private haulers with the flywheel, or I forget what it's called, underneath the truck. You just, and they're standing still. They're not supposed to compress or have any moving parts when they're driving, and yet they're allowed to do that. And that began in the 90s. Anybody who's 40 years or older knows garbage trucks didn't make sound. Look at the city trucks. They're the same thing, garbage trucks. You see, they take the New York City trucks and they paint them because you know how they look, and all of a sudden they're making that sound. And New York City trucks, what they try to do is put bars in between the compactor, so you hear, come on. Anybody who knows anything about compactors, you don't want to put stuff in between the moving parts. You get the screeching sound. You get the chalkboard, nails the chalkboard effect. So I'm telling a lot of things here, but it's kind of nutty. But back to, what was I going to say before? Oh, so the idea is something to stop concussions. It's so simple. It builds from the human body, where it protects itself. It is so simple. It is so simple. And the reason I couldn't share it was because it wasn't until the 90s when something was created. I had this idea since the 70s. And in the 90s they created something that now can be used in combination, and it works. But again, NFL, come to me and I'll tell you what it is. Have me go to your offices. We'll record it. You get all the money. But I want to see people see that it's me. But what was the other thing I wanted to say? There were two things. I lost track. I'll have to play again the video. So that's the end of that. Let me take a break. Take a break.